Encanto, where mental health is a goddamn superpower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was better, yeah.
Alright.
Mine was gonna be like, suddenly Green Arrow being in the Justice League isn't so silly, now is it?
Alright, so finally catching up on the latest Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
It seems appropriate. It feels like you and I have gone back and forth on Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, we've had, well, you in particular have had a rocky relationship with Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Just
I'm a
a bit.
fanboy.
Yeah, I've been more critical of him over the years.
Yeah.
The more I really piece into his work, and I even said in the Vivo review, it's like, I think he works better in animation.
Yeah.
And I'm still fucking right on that.
Yeah, it works, you Moana, Vivo, and now Encanto, yeah.
Did you do Moana?
He did the music for Moana, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That explains.
He actually wrote You're Welcome for Dwayne Johnson because he can't sing. Seriously. You ever listen to him try to sing it when he's outside the movie? It sounds like shit.
I believe that. But man's got a rap album now, so go figure.
He could rap.
Sure. Anywho, so Encanto is the latest film. Now, did he just wrote the songs? Did he have any influence beyond that, or?
It said he was one of the 6 people who worked on the story.
Okay.
Yeah, so he had his finger in a few pies in that movie. Yeah.
Okay, it definitely has some of his signature flares to it.
Oh yeah.
More like, of course, like, what's I'm looking for? Large cultural setting, family orientation, very ethnically diverse.
Oh yeah.
Which are all good things.
Oh yeah.
I think where I start to fade is when he tries to be political and not be political at the same time, and he kind of chickens out of saying anything of meaning.
Yeah, he has a struggle with that.
Which is where I kind of lose him. But anywho, I'm not gonna go on another rant about Lin-Manuel Miranda here.
Thank you. I'm not prepared for it. I gotta do like 6 months of study to be prepared to talk to you about it. I haven't read your books.
Not that much. I feel like you overestimate how much research I've done on the subject.
Fair.
This is just some more just educated opinions. That's not so pretentious. But anyway, Encanto, which is the latest Disney film about a magical house with the
Madrigals.
The Spanish X-Men.
That's a way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
I think it takes place in Central or South America, or just Mexico. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It's one of those things I choose not to guess.
That's fair.
So
I am not.
They speak
aware.
Spanish. I'm assuming something relative to Spain.
Yeah. All right. My thought was. My thought was Central America, but honestly, I don't know
Central
enough.
America, Spain.
I don't know enough about it to be able to confidently say anything.
We're too white. We're too white to make that guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop on that. But
anywho, it's about this woman who encountered a miracle candle one day when fleeing for her life from some kind of revolutionary.
Something was happening in their hometown, so they were getting out of there. The husband was going to try to buy him time, and he got axed.
And then, in her grief, she instilled a miracle into this candle, which grew into this massive house in this massive closed-off village surrounded by these massive mountains.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone that lives in that and part of her family gets a superpower.
I like to think that the candle is actually the husband.
Sure, you can totally do that.
That's my fan theory.
I mean, like it's implied in the narrative, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was like what was the case. Anyway, the house is more or less alive and it has like personality, and that's like part of the whole thing.
They call it a casito, which I told you was kind of ridiculous because that house is huge. It is not a casito.
Yeah. So it kind of runs on human rules.
It's like Monster House if Monster House had like better people skills.
Now, for those not familiar with the Inhumans, because why wouldn't you know that? Inhumans was like more pretentious X-Men.
Oh, yeah. Were they the guys with Black Bolt, or was that
That's Black Bolt, yeah,
okay,
that's all them.
Alright.
But like their whole thing is they don't get powers until like a certain age, and then they have a whole ceremony, and after the ceremony, that's when they find out what their power is, and yada yada yada. So this movie is like is less serious in humans. You're welcome for that, I think. Everyone except one person doesn't have a power for some reason that's never fully explained.
I think it's kind of better that they don't.
Which is fine. I don't need an explanation for that. Shit starts getting hazy and shenanigans
sort of the
happen.
family dynamic starts getting really tense, and then the powers, which they call gifts or miracles, etc.
They're superpowers.
They're superpowers.
Let's call it
They're superpowers.
Let's call a spade a spade.
But the family dynamic starts getting tense, so the superpowers start to get on the fence. So our main protagonist, whose name escapes me, she tries to figure out why that's happening, and so she goes on this, I want to say kind of quest, because she doesn't actually go anywhere, it's all in the house.
Yeah.
But she kind of goes on this quest to, kind of get more acquainted with her Uncle Bruno, who's shunned from the family, and then try to figure out what's happening with the house, and she does.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to find the fucking IMDb page for this so I can keep track of all the names.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of names. The first song is just names.
Maribel.
Merida?
Maribel.
Okay.
Played by Stephanie Beatrice.
That was her
Patrice.
name. Yeah, she's great.
The Brooklyn Nine-Nine woman.
Yeah. I love how she's the mean one on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but in everything she's done after Brooklyn Nine-Nine, she's super sunny.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least you didn't get typecast.
True.
Right off the bat, I was very apprehensive about this movie.
I was cautiously optimistic when I saw the trailer.
Because it did feel very much like Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I was definitely getting to that point where I was getting a little over the hype with him as a creator.
That wasn't my issue with the trailer, but carry on.
It's more like oh god, here we go.
Matt's not gonna stop humming these songs.
And so I was kind of watching. I was like, I don't know. Then eventually, it was how I didn't realize it until about halfway through, and I realized how invested I was in what was happening. And I was like, God damn it, the movie tricked me. I think it's when Bruno started coming more to the plot. And look, it's not a spoiler. The minute they mention his name, it's we don't talk about him. It's I bet he's not going to show up at some point in the movie.
They're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Bruno.
This guy's when he started popping, I was oh, god damn it. All right. It's yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie. I had a lot of fun. I was wary in the trailer because when the trailer first came out and it started, it was holy shit, this is the most whimsical freaking magic house I've ever seen. I am loving these visuals, and it's got this rhythm to it, and it's gorgeous. And I started getting worried in the part of the trailer where it's just but I don't have a gift. Don't worry, we'll figure out what makes you special. And I was just oh man, this is gonna be one of those why aren't I special things? Oh, the special was in you the whole time. Kind of, lazy writing. But I was pleasantly surprised because I was worried that was going to be the focus point, and it really wasn't. It was actually kind of in there, but it wasn't the main focus. I feel the main focus of the story was on the family dynamic itself. It wasn't just focused on this one person figuring out, what am I good at?
And that's what kind of started to win me over about it.
Yeah.
When I was kind of starting to see what it was doing. Because the whole thing is, this was again, we're going to start getting sliding into spoiler territory from this point on.
Yeah.
So if you want to go in this complete cold, stop now and come back.
Yeah.
The whole movie, it's this Abuelita, is that Abuela?
Abuela. Whose singing voice is actually this. I think it's the same person because it sounds just like her, but it sounds like the Broadway voice for In the Heights, the lady who was Abuela Claudia.
I mean, it has a lot of the same cast, so that wouldn't sadly surprise me. Maria Cecilia Botero.
Let's zoom in on this.
She has been known for a lot of Spanish films. So
that sounds about right.
I'm not.
Well, it might have also been the singing voice too. Sometimes they have a different person do the singing, but I don't know about that.
I think you just want to be right at this point.
Yeah, I do. I was just I heard her singing. I was just like, I'm getting flashback to Abuela Claudia, and I'm not okay with that. Because I really like Abuela Claudia. But yeah, that's
no, that is not her.
Yeah, okay.
You racist.
Oh, fuck off. It sounded similar. Like, the voice sounded similar.
Are you saying all Spanish singers sound like that?
No, fuck off. Jesus, don't do that right now.
Hey.
I get people mixed up a lot. So, like, my sister gives me crap about it at home, too. And I'm just like, oh, is that this actor? And she's like, no, that's a completely different actor. Just because they're both black, you think they're the same person. I'm just like, no, I'm just wrong sometimes. I will accept being wrong.
Well, here's an important realization. Slight tangent.
Okay.
That'll make you feel better about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
We, as white people, will do something racist at some point. It's not a matter of intention or wish.
It just happens sometimes.
We're gonna do it because we've been raised in a white supremacist society. Therefore, the issue shouldn't be I'm never gonna do anything racist again ever. Is that when someone brings it up to me, am I gonna learn from it? Mm-hmm. That's the difference.
And I'm still working on it.
Yep. Since I came to that realization, I felt a lot better about my accidental racism, of which I am guilty. I've been rightfully called out before, mostly by Muha. But anyway, back to Encanto.
Right, Encanto.
But yeah, when I saw what the movie was doing with Maribel, kind of realizing that the house is starting to fall apart, that the magic is starting to fade, and she starts getting basically that everything's not as picture perfect as everyone wants to believe it is. She starts looking into it and realizes just how fucked up her siblings are.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I was like really surprised. I don't remember the characters' names, but when the really strong one,
Luisa.
Luisa.
How did I remember that one?
You're good at shit.
Names has never been one of them. We all know this.
It's weird. Anyhow, when Luisa was like, when Luisa got her first song, like I was actually really surprised because I don't think she barely said a word before that.
Oh yeah.
But then all of a sudden she got fleshed out in this way where it's just like, oh shit, and then it became like this, like when. It was actually kind of interesting because you kind of become more aware of the character at the same time the protagonist does, which is really smart.
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of see it on the outside, but then, like, when you actually listen to her, and then it's just like, oh, you're learning at the same time the protagonist does, and that's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much a recurring theme for the entire film is the picture versus the reality.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the whole theme throughout the film, which is, families are fucked up people. Now, granted, I am definitely one of those people that thinks like the blood family is a bit overhyped in cinema, especially in Disney movies.
Yeah. I was getting little Incredibles vibes in the beginning, where it's just like we're special because we are.
Yeah, I love the Incredibles, but I can't deny it.
But I think this kind of.
Well, this one does present it as like, yeah, they're gifted and all these great things and all that stuff, but that's not their identity.
Yeah.
But they've been forced to make it their identity. And they're forced to constantly use those gifts for the greater good.
Yeah.
For the good of their community.
Well,
but
it's like they it's like they feel this pressure that they have to do everything for the community.
Well, yeah, but like as well pressure by families,
from Abuela.
I'm gonna go there by boomers.
Tradition is just peer pressure from dead people.
Honestly, honestly,
in this case, it's an alive person, but still.
I'm still living, but but basically, they all feel really pressured by Abuela, who has this idea of like just maintaining this image because that's what the community expects from them, and yada yada yada. I was wondering if they're just gonna make her outright the villain. They don't, and I'm glad that.
I'm so glad.
I'm glad they didn't. Now, I've also been a proponent in the past of I miss classic Disney villains.
Yeah.
It would not have been appropriate for this story.
No.
I still do miss them though, because I think like the last one we kind of got was Entangled, but that was kind of like the last one we've gotten in like the last.
And that was
10
a while
years.
ago. Yeah.
I'm not talking about like the liar reveal villains that are always like that are present after that. I'm not a big fan of those.
Like just somebody who is like. Sometimes you just want someone to twirl their mustache at the camera and just be all like, just having a blast with everything they're doing, because that was like the main appeal of old school Disney villains.
Oh yeah, like villains are always the best villains.
Oh fuck yeah.
So like the level of villains we had was like the traditional Disney villain up to about Tangled, and then like from there it was the surprise villain.
Yep. Like
in Big Hero 6 and Frozen.
Oh god, I'll never get over. Like I saw Big Hero 6 late, so I knew there was a twist villain in it, but at the same time, it's like first time I saw the movie, and it's just like, don't trust that guy. That guy's evil. Don't believe him. And I'm just like, oh, the motherfucker saying that is definitely the villain.
Yeah, no kidding. By the way, for those who wonder where the hell we are right now, this is my new place.
Yeah.
We're still kind of getting settled in.
Yo, his light bulb is a fan. That shit's wild.
It's pretty neat. It's
cool.
It's a much bigger upgrade than what we're used to. But anyway, and then we had the secret villain. Now the era we're kind of in is the redemption villain or the non-entity villain.
Yeah.
Which is either the villain is either some faceless thing, or it's a character that redeems themselves toward the end of the movie.
Or it's a character who always had good intentions but went about it the wrong way, and then learned learned what they were doing wrong. They were like, okay, I fucked up. I'll back up a little.
Yeah, that's what we call the redeeming villain.
Yeah.
That's what I'm putting all of that under that umbrella.
Fair enough.
Because it's a lot shorter to say.
You don't want to put that whole thing in a quotation and trademark it, Michael?
I'm sure that Disney will watch this review and put it on the poster. That's one of those like little quotes from Twitter they put on there, Splooshy Koosh 49 says excellent.
Splooshy Koosh, that's the one Disney's putting on the poster.
I mean, they didn't know what it means. I don't know what it means when I said it.
Like one of the Disney people just like, yo, check out this poster at me, and somebody wasn't even looking at it, and they're like, looks good, put it up.
Yeah, Brad, it's Disney. They don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
it's between they don't give a shit or they give too much of a shit. But that's a debate on its own.
We're not going to go into politics here. So the movie's mostly just characters dealing with their shit and trying to figure out how to come back, not necessarily come back together. I mean, that does happen, but it's more like it's mostly an interpersonal journey of everyone trying to figure out their own insecurities and their own anxieties and all those things. And it's honestly kind of a refreshing direction to take those things. Yeah. And Moana does the same thing, although I wasn't as big on Moana as a lot of people were.
All right.
Not that I hate it, I just wasn't in love with it as everyone else was at the time. Yeah. But I am liking this direction. I think it's a good direction to take in the modern age of animated kids movies, where it's less about you need to do what's right and sacrifice everything to get there, was what you and I were raised on.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm still fighting against sometimes.
Oh yeah, but then so am I. God forbid that's when I'm in therapy.
Same. Therapy.
Yeah. Weird thing to clap.
Oh yeah.
But we're kind of in the more modern age. There's much more of that's still in there. Like, do the right thing, be a good person, do what you need to do to help other people.
But also check.
But there's also more.
Check in with yourself sometimes.
There's a stronger pull nowadays toward not just checking with yourself, but taking care of yourself, acknowledging your limitations, acknowledging that you have needs.
Yeah.
Like the best part of Moana is when the grandmother ghost comes back. And just straight up says, like, I put way too much on you. Yeah. Like, if you want to go, I'll support you. We can fuck off. Yeah. We don't need to be here.
Yeah, it's just like, listen, you're literally a teenager.
Yeah.
This is a lot. I don't blame you for tossing that rock out.
So, like, the message behind it isn't necessarily perfect. There's still some tweaks you can make to make it a little stronger.
Oh, yeah.
I am appreciating that direction
Man, Moana is also a victim of peer pressure from dead people.
Yeah.
Literally, actually, now that I'm really thinking about that song, because like all of her ancestors showed up, like their ghosts and shit, and she's like, yeah, I can do this, and it's just like, all right.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just realizing that now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big theme in Moana, too.
Yeah.
So I like that direction. I like that direction Disney's taking. I think that's good for the next generation to learn. And I hope that's really internalized, and I'm seeing that reflect more in society, and it's good. And I'm glad that's happening. I'm glad that conversation is being more prevalent. Because it wasn't when you and I were growing up.
Yeah.
Like boundaries?
Oh man, greater good. Throw that self-sacrificing shit in there. Yeah.
Like my hero as a kid was Spider-Man, and that dude, like the whole thing with him was giving up literally everything all the time.
A little bit of everything all of the time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So like I'm still working some shit with that. So now I have adult money. I'm like, fuck you, I'm buying a TV. But no, and I think it's important in terms of family units. I like that message, especially if, like, with my family, this movie hit home for me a few times, because I'm also the black sheep of my family.
I mean, I'm also a redheaded middle child, and it's like, I don't always get along with my family, too, but it's not as bad as yours.
Like, I was going to say, not to make this...
I've had moments.
Not to make this a competition, but how many of your family are you still on speaking terms with?
Most of them.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Yeah.
Most of my family doesn't talk to me anymore.
Fair.
Only a few, like, overtly. But anyway, it's okay. It's okay. Like I said, that's where the Chosen Family video came from. Was that particular topic. So if you want my feelings on the family unit, why I have such an issue of saying blood, like blood family means everything, go watch that video. I have objections. Giant Eggs and the Family You Choose. One of my favorite videos I've made.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the first editorial I watched of yours.
Because you're in it. So yeah.
Was I?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Okay, I gotta rewatch it.
Because I'm pretty sure if you're not, you should be.
Oh, thank you. You want to edit me in? No.
It's too hard to do now.
It's just you saying it and Matthew Regan.
I don't throw names on there because I don't want anyone getting like doxxed or anything. But
thank you. Come here.
Love you too, buddy. But yeah, when it focuses on those themes and how everyone does, it's not just we're coming together because we're family. It's we're coming together because we understand each other better.
Yeah.
There's more of each other. Like we've listened, we've like learned, we've put the work in, and that's how we come back together.
I was actually a little like surprised on 2 counts. First off, because at first I was just like, no, don't apologize to Grandma. She fucked everything up. And then like as she kept talking, I was just like, oh, son of a bitch, you're right. Okay.
I mean, that whole sequence she has towards the end is heartbreaking, but I did like that the grandmother actually did apologize.
Yes, she did. Unlike certain other
I was gonna say
projects,
which oddly enough is probably the most unrealistic part about this movie.
I mean, sometimes people do apologize, but it usually takes a lot more out of them. But then again, the grandma did just become homeless like a half hour before.
I mean,
so there's that
toxic family members. They don't all it would be nice if they did. I think there's a lot of wish fulfillment with that particular. I know it's weird to pinpoint that part as the unrealistic part, considering there's a magic house with the Spanish X-Men inside and magic doors that give you superpowers. But like, no, the toxic family member apologizing for being toxic. That's the unrealistic
that's
part.
That's the part where you're like, all right, this movie's bullshit.
But
it was actually very sweet and very well done.
But this is not gonna be a secret at this point, because God knows I air my dirty laundry on camera plenty at this point. But it's like, do you know how much I would kill for my dad to say that to me at any point in my life? It's okay.
Do you want to know?
I'm okay. Okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
I come to terms with it.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I also, as a member of that, I am never expecting to hear that. So like that's the case. Like when that happens, if that does happen to your family, good. I'm so glad that happens. There is like I would say if there's like a Disney-fied version of that story that I would like to see, I would actually be curious to see how they would do that. Like I said, I guess Tangled probably did that more. In terms of, like, we're talking as unapologetic toxic.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, that is...
I was going to say, I'm trying to think about the part where Gothel apologized. I was like, I don't...
No, she doesn't. That's my point, though.
Okay. Sorry, I misheard you.
No, that's okay. I wasn't being entirely clear. So, like, that is... Like, there is one nuanced take on that, and this isn't the fault of this movie. I'm not using this against this movie, but something I would like to see in future movies like this.
Yeah.
And this, because we're currently in a genre, in a period of, like, entertainment where the redemption villain comes up a lot. One I would like to see happen, I would love to see Disney do it, because I'd be very curious to see how they would do it, is the case where they can redeem themselves, but they don't.
That would be something.
And I feel like that, because, like, for people like, I feel like people like me would feel a lot of validation in that.
There was one that was almost the case, but it got knocked down into a deleted scene in one of their VHS movies. It was Lion King 2. You ever see it? Yeah, there was that scene where there was Zira, I think that was her name, was above that. Did you ever see that deleted scene? Or I
haven't watched anything Lion King 2 related in years.
Okay, I mean, actually, now that I'm really thinking about it, it's not quite what you were saying, but there was like kind of a step in that direction of like, you know, the Simba's daughter was all like, oh, let me help you, and she's like, no, and she just jumps off like, what the fuck?
I mean, I'm not quite like that.
Yeah, not even remotely like that.
Like, that's still like traditional Disney villain kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think the closest I can think of something recently that did that was probably the She-Ra TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really good. You guys should watch it and watch it.
Oh, it's fucking amazing.
But, like, I mean, they eventually redeemed this character, like, a season or two later.
Are you talking about Shadow Weaver?
No, I'm talking about Catra.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Because I think it was, like, season 2 or season 3 finale, they had this part where they had, like, they're in this, like, weird, like, in the weird dream sequence area.
Was it the portal where they were, like, swallowing existence?
Something like that. Either way, no, it's like they were going through, like, flashbacks and shit like that.
Oh, that was 4?
I forget which one specifically, but it was that one where they opened the door for her to redeem herself if she wanted to, and like convert over to the other side and that stuff. But she chooses not to, and I thought that was actually really refreshing.
Oh, that was 3. That was 3.
Okay, yeah. And she chooses not to. It's like, okay, that's kind of refreshing because I think that's an important nuanced take on the redemption villain storyline, which is they won't always do that.
Yeah.
You can't always give people chances because they will not take them. And they will just take more out of you to get that. And I want to see that take on there. Now, granted, I'm not expecting that in this movie, so don't take that as criticism as that movie. I'm strictly, like, since we are in deep in this kind of conversation in this kind of era now where this is the prevailing things we're seeing, I would be curious to see it evolve more into that, the other side of the coin. And like I said, if Disney wants to take that, I would love to see what they do, because they do usually do this kind of stuff pretty well. Because God knows Disney has a long history of bad parents. Like, they basically started on bad parenting. Cinderella.
And, well, it's either bad parents or dead parents.
Either or. But like that being said, the way it works out in this story was very fitting. The way Abuela eventually realizes where she went wrong and actively apologizes and tries to make it right.
There was a gorgeous sequence where Abuela was realizing that, where she was just kind of flashback into her like walking past like her son Bruno, and then like her grandchildren? Yeah, grandchildren. And, you know, sort of her walking past them, just sort of standing tall and, you know, sort of stoic, and seeing them kind of struggling to hold composure in front of her. And then it was just like, that's like kind of that moment where she kind of, it starts to hit her, and it's just like, oh, man.
Yeah, and that's hard to do. It's hard to recognize your own behavior, and the thing about having a toxic family member is you want that moment so goddamn badly. You spend years of your life waiting for that moment. I didn't realize we're getting some heavier shit here, so I apologize for the viewing audience going like, wasn't this about a Disney movie?
Wasn't this about the Disney movie with the magic house and the superpowers?
Although, oddly enough, it does segue nicely into the animated short.
I wanted to talk about that. Like, oh my god, I was was like thinking at some point Michael is going to ask, "Is there anything else you want to talk about?" And I'm like, "Let's talk about that intro short."
No, because like the intro short does exactly what I'm talking about.
What was it? It was called called "Falls from the Tree" or something, or
Far from the Tree.
Far from the Tree.
Which is exactly about what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which is about this raccoon who has a scratch over his eye, presumably from a coyote. He's taking their young child to go hunting for oysters by the beach. The young one keeps running off. The parent keeps getting angry, not staying put, and then eventually chastises the child.
Yeah.
The raccoon child.
The baby raccoon.
This is all done non-vocally, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just like animal screeching sounds. So it's all done. Most of the dialogue is done by body language.
Oh yeah.
And then it's flash forward to the raccoon when it's an adult with their own child, and then they kind of have to realize, like, basically break generational, generational
learning. When the raccoon grows up, she's like, I'm guessing I don't know, but she's like, oh God, I've turned into my mother
or father. They don't really specify the gender.
Oh God, I've turned into my parent, and there's like sort of that point of. It's just like, okay, let's mellow out real quick. I'll take you up to the discussion branch, and where all important conversations happen.
Oh, of course.
And and it's just like, let me just tell you why I'm on your case. Like, I'm not gonna yell, I'm not gonna scream. I'm just gonna say, hey, that coyote down there messed me up when I was a kid, so that's why I'm a little worried whenever you run off. Do you understand? And the kid's like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And then they explore the beach together, and it's really sweet.
Yeah, it's about basically just about these I guess, learning from the mistakes of their parents and not repeating, or learning that how easily it is to do what they did.
Yeah.
And two, what it means to actually do better. That's an important part of growing up, especially as it's hard not to repeat the patterns, especially if I've worked with.
Sometimes it weasels up on you.
Look, I've worked with kids. I've seen parts of myself I'm not happy about while I'm doing that stuff. I've said and done some things with kids that sorry about that. The camera ran out of memory, and that is crooked as fuck, and that's gonna bug me.
How dare you? See, this is why I look fat on camera. I mean, I'm also just fat in general.
You're fine, buddy.
I know.
I'm gonna get this right. This is gonna.
Alright. Okay.
There we go. Okay. It's gonna do. Anyway, so I was talking about.
You left off on the word regret.
Regret, yeah. So yeah, like I've done things working with kids I regret, like nothing like overtly harmful or anything like that. But like that being said, like you raise your voice in an inappropriate moment, and it's like more like you feel like you wounded somebody when you didn't need to, that kind of thing. And like that's like that's a part of myself that I work pretty hard on. But that being said, especially when I have kids, it's so and I have because I work with kids, it's so hard not to get a little annoyed and a little.
I've also I've directed some shows with kids before, and I mean I haven't worked with them to the extent you have, but like still it's like. Just like, would you please stop talking backstage? I can hear you.
Yeah, it's hard not to lose your patience after a while. And I've always kind of had a short temper. I know, big shock. But that is something I've worked hard to control over the years. But so my point with that is that I think you recognize as an adult where the worst parts of your parents came from. So it takes a much more conscious effort to recognize, one, how easily you can fall into it, and two, how you can learn to try a different approach. That's going to be better for both of you in the long run. Yeah. So that's where that tangent was going. But just in terms of parenting in general, going back to what we were talking about with
Far From the Tree?
No, Abuela and
yeah.
Kind of both in conjunction, since they're all kind of tied.
They sing together very well.
Yeah, they do. But just kind of tie all that back home, it's more just like I think going forward, I think this movie does wrap up that story very beautifully, very wonderfully. It's very happy, fulfilling ending, very emotionally satisfying. I would like to see the more nuanced approaches to that taken up in more than just a short. Yeah. There is a lot to say about it. I think on a societal level, we are becoming more aware of that, or at least it's becoming more prevalent in the conversation. Yeah. We're talking more about boundaries. We're talking more about toxic parenting. We're talking more about narcissism, and things like that. Things that a lot of us kids don't recognize until we're much older, and even then it's not until therapy.
Yeah, or even just like meeting people outside your normal circle too. It's
like we start telling somebody a story about something that seemed totally normal when you were a kid.
Oh my god, that is like how I learned how wrong I am most of the time, because I will tell. Sometimes I would tell stories that I remember being hilarious, but then people would just be like, "Man, what the fuck? That's really fucked up."
Yeah,
and I would just be like, "Oh shit, yeah, whoa."
Like the joke I still tell, but I realize now how dark it is. We got spanked when we were a kid, but it wasn't like just hand spank. It was big, thick ass paddles like this thick.
Oh shit! I think my aunt used to have one of those. Yeah.
I think I might tell you about this, but my mother hung it right next to the dining room table.
Oh man!
And the joke I used to make was like, if you grabbed it and you put it to your ear, you can still hear the screams.
Oh no!
Which I still think is a funny joke.
It kind of is, because I'm familiar with the feeling.
But at the same time, you tell the wrong audience that, you get a lot of wide eyes. I'm like, oh no.
And then they ask, "Are you okay?" And it's just like,
no.
I'm still figuring that part out. Don't worry about it right now.
But then it feels like whenever you try to like say you're not alcoholic, nothing you say is going to help your case.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, no. See, it was like only back then. I'm totally fine now. Like it was normal back then.
I used to actually have to justify to people that I was not an alcoholic sometimes, because it's like, I'm not. It's like an actual medical condition, but it's like sometimes I would just have like a drink in my hand, and my sister would be like, "Oh my god, you're drinking? You're an alcoholic." I'm just like, "I just picked this thing up." But
do you have an intervention, Matt?
No.
Alright, this means
I am not an alcoholic. I don't actually drink that often.
Mm-hmm. Sure you
I just joke about it a lot.
Sure you don't. I bet you can stop anytime you want, right?
I do stop every time I want. Like, I do. That's why I'm not an alcoholic. I only drink sometimes.
We're a little touchy on the subject, are we, Matt?
Like, I feel like I'm literally proving your point right now.
You kind of are.
Like, I'm not an alcoholic. It's just like, oh yeah.
It's like, and everyone looks at it, what I say, it's like, oh, he's in denial.
Oh my god.
He's in denial.
Literally like talking to my sister right now. I'm just like, I swear to God.
I don't think you're an alcoholic. You disarm, alright?
Okay.
I think that was a point made. Yeah. I think that's all I have on this.
I want to delve a little bit into the visuals and the music.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Just, my god, this movie is gorgeous, too. Like, oh my god. Like,
Oops, sorry about that.
The hell was... Are you on TikTok?
I'm just checking stats. Go.
Motherfucker, we're doing a review!
I checked
on TikTok!
I check stats
this is a professional setting!
It's my name on the banner.
Also fair.
I also want to keep in mind, I check stats all the time while you guys talk. I just usually have it on mute.
Oh man, where was it? Right, the visuals are absolutely gorgeous. Like, even beyond just the house, like, you know, that was kind of the main selling point in the trailer. But like, you know, the people all look great. The character design is phenomenal, and the setting is gorgeous. And just like, you know, the powers too, like, you know, everybody's got superpowers and stuff, but there's like just kind of this speed about it where it's like, you know, you almost blink and you miss it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, you know, it's absolutely stunning whenever, you know, every time they do stuff with it.
It's Disney, everything.
Yeah, the animation's gorgeous, and the music is also just very good.
Anytime the mouse lets anyone have a decent budget, like the animation's pretty gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Which, say what you will about Lightyear, that movie looks gorgeous too.
I can't get over Lightyear because everyone else looks like a normal person, then you have Buzz Lightyear with this just big ass chin. I can't get over the fucking, like, Jay Leno wishes his chin was this big. Like, it doesn't even look like a chin. It's like a tumor on his face.
Here comes the crimson chin.
Here comes the crimson chin. God, he can break diamonds on that chin. Just like...
I think you really hung up on that. I was able to let that go.
It's because it's just such a stark contrast from the way the rest of the people look. Like, if everyone else had kind of some exaggerated features, I might have been more okay with it. But it just looks goofy compared to everyone else. Because you got people with, like, normal-looking cartoon faces, and then you just got giganto-ass chins. Like, you can't tell me there's not a stark contrast between the way Buzz looks and every other person in that trailer.
I don't know, it didn't really bother me.
Okay, it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
I think it's also just kind of weird because it's the first time we ever see Buzz Lightyear with hair.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that's probably
that might
also
be a little
it.
weirder than
instead of the purple skull cap he's always got on under his helmet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
just animation's gorgeous. It's like, say what you will about Lin-Manuel Miranda. The dude can write a song.
Now, is that so hard, Michael?
A little bit.
Okay.
Little bit.
It's okay. It's okay.
I liked Hamilton when I first watched it, but it's more the more I've thought about it, the more I like. It's not that fact that anything music or production wise is bad.
Oh, yeah.
It just kind of what it represents in terms of American myth making is bad.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, I'm never gonna get over the first time I saw Hamilton live in San Francisco. Like, literally, I was crying through most of that show because of how gorgeous it was.
Like it's gorgeous.
I was just like, this is such good fucking theater, I swear to God.
It's just more it's just the propping of the American myth that is causing so many problems right now, especially. I mean, it's always caused problems, but we're like more aware of it now. I mean, they're talking fucking Thanksgiving. And
George Washington didn't have slaves. He's black in this.
The first Thanksgiving was not a happy-go-lucky meeting.
Yeah.
It was a fucking, like... It was a war arrangement, basically.
Yeah, kind of.
It was a two people.
It was like a mafia sit-down.
Pretty much.
You're gonna give us what you want, or we're gonna kill everyone.
Actually, it's not entirely accurate.
Well, yeah.
The reality is because one Indian tribe, Native American tribe, realized that these white people were kind of here to stay, so they thought they could use their forces to attack against a mutual tribe that they didn't like. And that's kind of what started. So it was more of a trade negotiation, as opposed to like an actual like, look how happy we're. Here's a turkey.
Fair.
Yeah.
And then they taught him to grow corn.
Sure. No, they didn't.
Yeah. You better give us your motherfucking corn. I need some corn, man. Okay, sorry.
But yeah. Songs are catchy. It works well thematically. Okay. Animation's always gorgeous because it's like animated Disney.
Yep.
As long as it's not like one of those Disney TV movies, they're usually pretty good. Yeah, it's a good. This is probably my favorite recent Disney movie. So, like more than Frozen 2.
Oh yeah.
Like more than Moana.
It's absolutely. It's a wonderful, wonderful experience.
I found I like Disney movies more when it breaks away from its traditional like princess
absolutely.
Formula, with the exception of like the original Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah.
Because that one's still amazing.
I mean, it's like the princess formula, but it's like told backwards.
More or less, yeah. But I don't like my other favorite Disney movies like Lilo and Stitch.
Oh my god, I was rewatching Lilo and Stitch, and I'm just like, god damn.
That movie hits
Nani, you're a fucking MVP.
Like that movie hits harder as an adult than it does.
Oh my god, it so does.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like the part that I watched again, I could not believe it was in a Disney movie.
Oh man. Was it the hammock scene?
Not the hammock scene. No. I mean that was more like the part that felt a little too real. In a Disney movie was when the house burns down. And Bubbles
is just like
shows up.
Is this what she needs?
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, that was a little too real.
It breaks your freaking heart.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So like that was a little too real. It's like I miss this Disney. Like, granted, I know why they veered away.
This is Disney with some huevos. Like,
it didn't make any money, which is why they didn't keep doing it.
Yeah,
which sucks.
Well, then the other issue was that they also had to do a lot of reanimating after 9/11.
Well, not as much as they like to think. They tell you it does. It's mostly the final sequence they had to change.
Yeah.
But even then, they mostly just reskinned the plane as a spaceship.
And they turned the buildings into mountains.
Yeah. So like. There's more reskinning than anything else.
Yeah, fair.
The weirdest part was really changed the laundry machine, the laundry machine.
Yeah, that was
box.
Yeah, that was it. They were like saying, "Oh, we just don't want kids to climb into cleaning equipment."
We all did it. Does he
What parent doesn't check before you? When you've got toddlers, you always check.
Look, we didn't need a fucking movie to tell us to do that. We looked at a laundry machine, saw it was child size, and thought, yeah, I could fit in there.
Yeah.
That's what you just did. Children are like cats. If it fits, I sits. That's pretty much.
One of my favorite places to be as a kid was just inside a laundry basket.
I
loved sitting in laundry baskets. It was just fun.
I used to hide in like a 4x4 cabinet whenever we play hide and seek because I could fit in there.
Oh man, that's nice.
Anyway, we're just going on massive tangent at this point.
Yeah.
So, Encanto. I loved it. I thought it was great.
It's wonderful. It's gorgeous. It's very smart, and just it tugs your heartstrings in the right direction.
I think it's better than the most recent straight anime Disney fare, so I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
I think it's all we got, and we're running out of battery, so we're gonna end there.
All right.
I still gotta talk Ghostbusters with Ron. Me and Muha saw a movie last night.
Oh my god.
That is about as different from this one as you could possibly get.
What did you see?
Benedetta.
I've never heard of that.
Let me pitch to you this way.
Okay.
Would you like to see the director of Starship Trooper and RoboCop
Yes.
make a nunsploitation French film?
Wait, what? Hold on, say the last part again.
A nunsploitation French film.
Yes. I mean, honestly, I was already sold when he said the director of Starship Troopers, but...
Yeah, the director of Starship Troopers made a nunsploitation film.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that pretty soon. Meantime, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.